Backstage, away from the roar of the audience and the glare of the stage lights, Michael Bennett stands in a narrow hallway that smells faintly of metal and dust. The walls around him feel too close, as if the moment itself is pressing in. In his hands he holds a small, creased photograph, its edges softened from being folded and unfolded countless times. It's a picture of his child, smiling without any idea of how heavy this night is for her father. Michael's fingers tremble slightly, not from fear of the stage, but from the weight of time he knows he doesn't have much of. The distant sound of applause leaks through the thick curtains, muffled but constant, reminding him that thousands of eyes will soon be on him. Doctors' voices replay in his mind, calm but cruel, telling him his days are measured now, borrowed rather than promised. He closes his eyes and takes a slow breath, steadying himself as emotion tightens his chest. This performance is not about winning or impressing judges. It is about leaving something behind that will last longer than his body can. A stage assistant gestures that it's almost time. Michael nods, tucking the photo carefully into his pocket as if placing his heart there. He straightens his shoulders, forcing calm into his posture. In this quiet, fragile moment before the spotlight finds him, Michael makes a silent promise to sing with everything he has left, so his child will always know she was loved beyond words. The curtains slowly pull apart, and Michael Bennett steps forward into a flood of blinding light. For a split second, the size of the stage overwhelms him. The audience stretches out endlessly, rows upon rows of faces fading into darkness beyond the spotlights. The applause begins, polite, curious, uncertain. To them, he is just another contestant walking onto the America's Got Talent stage. It cannot see the battles etched behind his calm expression. Michael pauses at center stage, adjusting the microphone stand with careful hands. His breathing is controlled, but his heart pounds loudly in his ears. He scans the judges' table. Simon Cowell leans back slightly, arms crossed, studying him with practiced skepticism. The other judges offer small smiles, waiting to be convinced. Michael swallows, feeling the weight of expectation settle on his shoulders. When he begins to speak, his voice is steady but soft. He introduces himself and briefly explains why he is there. As he mentions his child and the limited time he has left, a shift ripples through the room. The audience quiets, whispers fade. What was once casual curiosity turns into focused attention. This is no longer just another audition. Michael grips the microphone, grounding himself. He feels exposed, standing under the lights with nothing to hide behind but honesty. Yet there is strength in that vulnerability. In this moment, fear takes a step back, replaced by purpose. As the music cue approaches, Michael lifts his head, ready to let his story speak through song, knowing that once he starts singing, there is no turning back. The first note of the music drifts softly through the theater, slow and gentle, like a heartbeat finding its rhythm. Michael closes his eyes for a brief moment, letting the sounds settle inside him before he begins to sing. When his voice comes out, it isn't loud or dramatic. It's raw, fragile, and deeply human. There is a slight tremble in it at first, the kind that comes from emotion rather than fear. He tightens his grip on the microphone, grounding himself as the lyrics begin to flow. Every word feels personal, as if he is speaking directly to his child rather than performing for an audience. His voice carries exhaustion, love, regret, and hope all at once. The theater grows still. Even the smallest sounds, shifting seats, quiet coughs, disappear. People lean forward, drawn in not by technical perfection but by honesty. This is not a polished performance. It is a confession set to music. As the song builds, Michael's voice grows stronger, steadier, more certain. Emotion fills his eyes and a tear slips down his cheek, catching the stage light. He doesn't wipe it away. He lets it fall, unashamed. The judges watch in silence, no longer analyzing, only listening. The audience feels it too, the invisible connection that forms when someone shares their deepest truth. By the time he reaches the final lines of the verse, his voice is full of quiet power. It carries the weight of a father trying to leave something meaningful behind. In that moment, the stage no longer feels like a competition platform. It feels like a place of confession, love, and legacy, where one man's voice becomes a message that reaches far beyond the theater walls. As the final note fades into silence, the air inside the theater feels heavy, almost suspended. No one claps right away. The kind of silence that follows isn't awkward, it's reverent. Michael stands still at center stage, his head slightly bowed, chest rising and falling as he exhales the last of his breath and emotion. The judges' table is frozen, each of them processing what they've just witnessed. Simon Cowell looks down at the desk in front of him, his usual sharp expression softened. He clears his throat, blinking more than usual, as if trying to regain control. One of the judges presses a hand to their mouth, eyes glistening, while another slowly shakes their head in disbelief. This wasn't a performance they could critique with checklists and notes. It reached somewhere deeper, past technique and polish. The camera cuts to the audience, people wiping their eyes, some holding their chests, others simply staring at the stage in quiet awe. Back at the judges' table, Simon finally looks up at Michael. There's a long pause before he speaks, and that pause says everything. His voice, when it comes, is lower and calmer than usual. He talks about honesty, about courage, about how rare it is to see someone turn pain into something so meaningful. The other judges nod, adding their words, each clearly moved. They praise not just the song, but the love behind it. As applause finally erupts, it's louder than before, filled with respect rather than excitement. Michael looks up, eyes wet, absorbing the moment. In this exchange between performer and judges, something changes. This is no longer just about advancing in a competition. It's about being seen, heard, and understood, and that makes all the difference. The applause grows into a wave that rolls through the theater, rising higher and stronger with every passing second. People stand from their seats almost without realizing it, clapping not out of excitement, but out of deep respect. Michael remains at center stage, overwhelmed, his hands shaking slightly as he looks out at the sea of faces now on their feet. The bright lights blur his vision, but he can still feel the warmth of the moment wrapping around him. Simon Cowell stands as well, followed by the other judges, turning the applause into a full standing ovation. For Michael, time seems to slow. He presses his hand to his chest, as if to steady his heart, and bows his head in gratitude. Tears finally spill freely, no longer held back. This is more than validation. It is connection, proof that his message has landed where it needed to. Simon speaks one last time, his words calm and sincere, reminding Michael that some performances stay with you long after the show ends. Whether or not the competition continues, this moment will live forever. The crowd cheers again, louder now, and Michael smiles through tears, thinking of his child and the reason he walked onto this stage. As the lights begin to dim, Michael takes a deep breath, feeling lighter than he has in years. He knows he has done what he came to do. He has turned love into sound, pain into meaning, and fear into something lasting. As he walks off the stage, applause still echoing behind him, one truth remains clear. Some legacies are not measured in time, but in the love we leave behind.